Hey everyone, welcome back or welcome to my channel. This month's video is the August bullet journal spreads. So the theme this month is like computer screens, computers. So I have everything sketched out in pencil. This time around my mood and habit tracker, actually it's the other way around, are horizontal, which is a little bit strange. And I did take the time to sketch out just about everything because I wasn't about to try and figure out the details while doing the color. So we'll worry about that, like picking the colors, in a little bit. I just wanted to show you that this is pretty well fleshed out already, and it is a lot more detailed than I usually do, or I guess that I have been doing recently. So there's probably some copyrighted images of things that I've taken from Windows and Apple and yada yada whatever. Like I have the snake game, I've got Minesweeper, etc., etc. So without further ado, let's get into this month's bullet journal. So starting off with the title page, I'm using a Micron 3, 5, and 8 for different line weights, and I'm starting with the 3 because I wanted to do the details first and make sure that I had all of those before I started going in with the thicker pens. And that also just kind of helped me separate the foreground and, like I said, I guess the detail elements from what else I wanted to pop. So I just have a collection of little applications or windows open, and then this is like if you were looking at a desktop. So I have like my little settings menu in the corner, and then I did actually draw like a line around the whole border to pretend to be like a screen. I've got some files, a recycle bin, you know, we got the date and the time, and we've got the snake game, some file folders, loading, a quote, some music, a summer bucket list, on and on and on. You can choose whatever applications and doodles and whatever that you want to add. If you were to do this yourself, different quotes, different music, I guess. If you were gonna do music, different file folders. Some people draw other little doodles in the background. I just chose to keep my background plain and I didn't even color it in. Moving into the calendar, this is just like a browser page, and then I have some files off to the side. So every tab is a different day of the week. And then the search bar just says www.august.ca because this is August. And then I chose to do horizontal lines only and not vertical lines because the pin that I was referencing for this, and essentially just like making my own, did not have vertical lines, and I really liked how clean and simple it kept everything. So like I said, for the habit and mood tracker, I kept them horizontal, and that's because I really loved the idea of having the keyboard be the mood tracker, and then the habit tracker would be like the same as the rest of the theme with all these little windows popped up, but having them both horizontal like this makes it look almost like you're about to type on the computer and like type in those little habit things. So I thought that was really cute, and I'm glad that I chose to do this. Figuring out the spacing for all these little keys though was actually a nightmare because it did not fit evenly with how many keys there had to be. And I know that I write E twice, I do fix that, so don't worry about that. It's just because I had the little, like, I don't know, what are they, sensory things so that you know where to put your fingers on the keyboard. And then moving into week 1, of course I had to include the iconic MS Paint. It's been a really long time since I've used MS Paint myself, so I was just going off of pictures for this, and of course somebody else's pin. And typically the MS Paint is like blue as far as I know. I made mine purple so that it would fit with the rest of the theme. So week 2 is 8 days because the last week was 6 days, and it's again just more browser tabs, so we're like tying it back to the calendar here. Nothing super special with this spread. I thought having a detailed one and then a sort of plain one would kind of, you know, balance out how hand crampingly difficult this month was. And then for weeks 3 and 4, I have the same kind of setup where I just have a bunch of random, like, not necessarily browser windows, but like applications and other tabs, I guess, open. And then just some files in the background to kind of fill up some of that extra space. This is another 6-day week. You could do 7 if you were gonna do like a cross page box. I chose to fill mine in with a summer playlist box instead. And then I've got my little Minesweeper up in the corner, a clock, because I didn't know what else to put in a box that small. And then moving on to our final week, I chose to do a little image here and then just have the overlapping boxes. And I really like the way that this turned out. And the rest of the line art is super cool. So after finishing all of the line work, I think I'm gonna go with a cool tone color palette of mostly purples with a green and a blue, and then just some extra, like this yellow here, this red, some brown, some green, and some grays in areas just for like different pops of color. Or like I have the snake game here, like that's gonna be a bunch of green. I've got the minesweeper, that will be gray, so on and so forth. All of these little boxes I'm gonna have in different purple colors. And then each of these symbols on the top right corner here are gonna be the same green, yellow, red. So I'm gonna go ahead and color in what I know I want the colors to be first, if that makes any sense. And then we'll go from there and just kind of decide which colors feel right in the moment. There's only a few things that were gonna be red, so I chose to start with that color and then go yellow and green, because again, I know green, yellow, red in the top right corner, that was pretty straightforward. Also the little recycle bin, I had a color picked out just for that. So that's where I started with. And then I knew that I wanted to use the lightest color for my little summer bucket list tab. And then I went ahead and colored in the snake game. This took a lot longer than I thought it was going to, and it is kind of messy, but if you look at it from far away, it looks pretty good. And that's, as you know, nobody else is going to be looking at this close up other than me, so it doesn't matter if the squares aren't perfectly square. And then I chose to do the title, like August, in dark purple so that it would stand out more, because there's a lot happening on this title page, and it is 2 spreads, which I don't usually do for my title pages, but I really, really do like the way that this turned out. So now it's just a matter of alternating colors for the little headers, all these tabs. And then for the calendar, I did this all the time when I was in school, because you have the option with Google to customize your homepage, and I would always turn mine purple, and same with like Gmail, I would always make mine purple. And actually at work we use Epic, which is an application for like online charting, and before they introduced dark mode, which is what I use now, I had mine also in purple. So can you tell that there's a theme here that I really like purple? So anyways, just going through, copying the same thing of just alternating through the colors, deciding how to balance them properly. And then, like I said, when we were going over the line work, I chose to do my MS Paint spread in purple instead of blue. So I have that ombre top border alternating through 4 different purple shades, and then the pinkish purple that doesn't really go with the rest of them is what I filled in the background with. I didn't fill in the background for any of the rest of the spreads because I figured that would be excessive. But the MS Paint spread had a big white space in the center, so I figured it would balance it out really well. Now just going ahead with the browser tabs of this week. If I had more different shades, or if I was using like pencil crayons, maybe I would have filled in the number as well. But I chose not to do that because I didn't want the same color for both of them, because typically the new tab button is not the same color as the current tab that you're on, if that makes any sense. And then we're just repeating the same thing. So usually I would start with a color that I knew I wanted first. So like for the Minesweeper, I chose the lightest purple, not the purple pink, but the lightest purple, because I knew that that box was going to be really dark. And then I will link the pin in the description that I was following for this little image. I know that I called it Cool Pick, but I wanted to try my hand at some like vaporwave, is that what it's called? Type art. So I found this cool pyramid, and it fit the color scheme that I was going with for these. So I tried my best to make my own version using the same colors. Like I had the palm tree on the other side, and I was using my purple liner for this actually. I think for what I was doing, I think it turned out pretty good. I never tried that before, and especially not with marker, when it definitely looks like it's supposed to be digital art. But anyways, I think it turned out, and it's a pretty cool spread. This whole thing is pretty cool. I really love it actually. So maybe you'll see this in a printed bullet journal at some point. All right, so here is the final flip through of the August bullet journal spreads. I actually had a lot of fun planning this out and doing all the little doodles. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like, comment down below, subscribe to my channel. I post new videos on Mondays or Wednesdays or kind of whenever I have the time, usually about twice a month. I hope you have a lovely week, and I will see you all in the next video.